Hi, welcome to Simply Nail. And if this is your first time tuning in, Simply Nail is a channel on YouTube where I discuss different aspects of my world inside my tiny studio. I talk about dreadlocks, my dreadlock journey, which I am in the 20th year of my dreadlock journey. I speak about all things that I absolutely love inside my tiny studio, which happens to be crochet and jewelry design. I discuss all of those things on this channel. This is a new channel, so I'm just getting started, and I'm trying to get my bearings on the audio and the lighting and all of those things that, you know, a YouTuber, a new YouTuber, a babe like myself gets caught up in. But hopefully things work itself out. And you know what they say about consistency for practice, they say, makes perfect. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm just looking for a flawless a semi-flawless production. So we'll see how it goes. Anyhow, this is Crochet and Chat, and today we're going to be talking about all things crochet. Well, basically I'm going to do the talking, and so just grab any works in progress that you may be, you know, working on, and we can chat for a little bit. As I said in another video, my purpose is to create content where knitters and crocheters can sit down and get like maybe 30 minutes of work done, and all they have to do is just listen and focus on their work, and also occasionally look up at the screen and see my face. And that's what it's all about. I find that as a crocheter, sometimes I'm looking for content where I could just crochet to, and that's what I want to provide for you, something that I will like myself. There are other YouTubers who are crocheters who have crochet and chat times, and I've actually enjoyed them, enjoyed listening to them and working on my projects, just being entertained. And I wanted to contribute to the YouTube crocheting community. I wanted to give back, and this is my way of giving back. I am working on my grandmother's slippers, and I've completed one slipper, and this is my own pattern, and it's just an ankle slipper. I found a really good I want to say recipe, but it's not a recipe. I found a really good pattern for crochet slippers, and what I did was, as I usually do, I start tweaking the recipe or tweaking the pattern until I came up with my own pattern. And this is my pattern, and I came up actually with 4 different patterns for crochet slippers. So this is one of the patterns. I've made maybe 10 pairs for customers, and if you're watching and you're a customer of Blue Lotus Hill Designs, thank you for supporting small businesses. So my grandmother has arthritis in her feet, and so do I. And she was talking about how, well, this is how the crochet slipper journey began. I have arthritis in my feet, and I started wearing socks and trying out different pairs of socks to alleviate, you know, feeling that draftness that, you know, you get at nighttime while sleeping. And some of the socks that I was wearing, just to me, they were not efficient enough at, you know, making my feet feel warm and comfortable, and you know, and they weren't comfortable to sleep in. So I decided, wait a minute, ding, what am I doing here? I could just crochet my own socks, my own slippers. And so that's what I started doing, and then I posted it on my Instagram page and on my TikTok page, and I started getting orders. And so I was like, oh, so this is a thing. Well, you know, it is, well, it was at the time, you know, wintry. So I said, well, let me go ahead and do this. So I have crocheted and sewed maybe about 10 pairs of crochet slippers, and I call them my comfy slippers. And so my grandmother was talking to me, and she was saying that she, of course, has arthritis in her feet, and she's been trying to wear socks, but she still hasn't been able to get warm. Of course, I am her granddaughter, so I knew exactly what she was talking about. And I said, oh, I can make you some slippers. So of course she thought that was amusing. She thought that was amusing because my grandmother is a designer, and she's been designing clothes for many, many, many years. And she's always been the one who has made stuff for me. And then when I say I'm going to make something for her, she thought that was really funny. She had a good laugh on me. But one of my first crochet projects was an Afghan that I made for my grandmother, and it was beyond a king size Afghan. And it sits on her in her den, her blue room she calls it, and it sits in her den on her couch. And that right there, she was just blown away that, number one, I actually completed a crochet project, and number two, that project was for her. So I can understand the amusement that she felt about me crocheting some slippers for her. So this is the first pair that I crocheted for her. I'm going to send two. So this is the first pair. These are like booties, and this is how they look. You can wear them they should fit above your ankle. Well, yeah, they really should. They are. And I will call them booties. And then you can wear them in this manner, or you can fold them under, and you have a situation like this. So I finished this pair, and here are both pairs. And then I have the second pair I'll be sending to her, which of course is a different size. It's an ankle length. So maybe perhaps she may want to wear this during the daytime, just to look cute. What I'm also going to do is I found this really good non-slip sole application or adhesive, so I will be putting that on the bottom of these very soon. After I complete them, I'll be ordering that from Amazon, and I saw some at on Joann.com, so I'm going to get the non-slip adhesive to go on the back of there, so I won't be contributing to a fall over there on Roseline. So I hope you're having a great day. So here is the second pair. Well, not this. Yeah, this is the second foot of the second pair that I'm working on. I'm using, of course, my favorite type of yarn, which is chunky. I guess because my fingers are chunky, so I just enjoy using this yarn. And I'm going to be using my clover hook, and this is a 9mm, but I'm trying to think. I thought I was using right, I think I'm using this one. This is I'm using the 8mm hook for this project. For another customer's slipper, I used the 9mm on this particular yarn. On this particular yarn, and I didn't like it because it made the stitches a little large, and well, I didn't want that for my grandmother, because I know that when you are suffering with arthritis, you don't want to have any holes or anything going on, any type of you don't want any loose stitches so that air can come through, and with a larger stitch, I felt that more air will seep through the slipper, if you understand where I'm going with this. So I decided to use, instead of a 9mm hook, I decided to use the 8mm hook. So this is what I'm doing today. And I'm excited. I want to, get it finished. And this is this slipper, this particular pattern of this slipper has, I want to say, there are 4 different skills that you need to have, that you need to know to make this slipper. And I say it's a really good beginner slipper, a beginner's project anyone can do. But there's some things that you need to know how to do first. And first you need to know how to make a magic ring. That's number 1. You need to know how to do a slip knot, single crochet, half double crochet, and you have to know how to sew ends together and weave ends together. So those are things that you need to know how to do with this particular slipper that I have designed for my grandmother. And let me see, with this slipper, which is a totally different pattern, what you have to know the skills that you have to know how to do right off the bat. You have to know how to make a magic circle, of course. You need to know single crochet, you need to know half double crochet, and you need to know how to do the front post stitch crochet. So those are the skills that make this particular pattern of slipper that I'm putting together, well, that I've already completed for my grandmother. So I try to, as a beginner, well, I'm not a beginner, but I try to, when I make or create patterns or design patterns, I try to do so with the beginner in mind. Because I remember when I first started crocheting again, after, let's say, after years of on and off crocheting, when I started again, I needed to watch videos on YouTube that, was tailored to beginners. And some of the videos that I watched, they said they were beginner friendly, but they really weren't beginner friendly. So, what are you going to do? The only thing that you can, you can just, do the best that you can. But when I create patterns and I say it's for beginners, I'm going to let beginners know that there are certain skills that you need to already have a good foundation in. And I need to put that on my list. I'm going to create a video where I talk about the foundational skills of crochet. And I'm not a crochet expert by any means. Don't even go there. I don't want anyone thinking that I am some type of crochet master, because I'm not. I've only been really crocheting full time for the last 5 years, and still in those 5 years I feel that I need more, I need more education. So I'm learning too, and I think we're all basically learning. Well, some of us. Because there are some of you out in YouTube land who are just, just going there with it. I applaud you. I watch your videos and I am just amazed and awestruck. So, Tony from TL Yarns, I'm talking about you, girl, too. I watch Tony from TL Yarns. She comes on the knit and crochet show that's on NPR. It comes on Create TV on maybe on Wednesdays, once or twice a month, and I try to catch it. And it's a really great show. I really like Tony. She is a really great teacher. The only beef I have with Tony is that she moves really fast when she's doing a tutorial, because I'd be like, pause, rewind, pause, rewind. So maybe it's just me. Maybe I need to, I need to think a little faster, move a little faster. Perhaps that's the case. I don't know. But Anyhow, with crocheting, it's a very it's a very interesting, craft to be involved in, and I really I really enjoy it. To me, it's really relaxing, and it is it's stimulating. And if you have issues with your memory, then crochet is a wonderful way to work on your memory skills. And that's one of the things that I love about crocheting. And when you begin to crochet for other people, that's a wonderful thing too. Crocheting and, making gifts for people and making gifts for your loved ones. And like I said, when I started crocheting again, I started crocheting blankets. That's the crazy thing about me. When I begin something, I take on a new challenge. I'm starting from the deepest end of the pool, and then I work myself back to the shallow end. I don't know why I am wired in that manner. But when I started crocheting, I didn't start making washcloths. I started making Afghans, child. And the first two Afghans I made were so wonky. I thought they were just the prettiest things ever. I gave them to my daughters. They still have them. One One turned into like a oval shape because of the way, I hadn't really mastered how to keep my how to chain one and turn my work. So I was just working. It was a hot mess. It was a hot mess, I'm trying to tell you. And eventually you learn, because I was eager to learn. I was eager to get it right. And that's what eventually happened. I was able to get it right. And that turned into my grandmother's Afghan. And then it turned into my mother's Afghan. And I have made more. I was thinking about it. I have made a lot of projects that, wearable projects as well. I have made 2 shawls, many scarves. I cannot tell you how many scarves I've made. And you would think that I would have made slippers by now, but no. No, I just, fell into that. Oh, another thing you would have thought that I would have made, that would be washcloths. I just started making washcloths last year. Can you believe it? When you're a beginner, when you first learning how to crochet, you start off with the single crochet stitch and learning how to, do those basic things of, chain one, turn your work. So all of those things, those nuances of learning to crochet, you begin to build that foundation by making a simple square. And that square can turn into a washcloth, or that square could turn into a granny square, of which I did not start making of which I still did not start making until perhaps last year. And then I became obsessed with granny squares. I have a whole bag of granny squares right now, because I'm in the process of making a quilt, a granny square quilt. And so I have a whole bag of granny squares. Let me see if I can pull them out. It's just funny to me that a lot of the basic skills that you're supposed to start off with crocheting, I just went on to the hard stuff. And then I came back to the basic. But in actuality, when you're thinking about granny squares are not basic. You know, yes, you have a simple, or, you know, a basic, I don't want to see, I'm using basic. Yes, you have granny squares that are not as complicated. You know, you do have those, but then of course you could take granny squares. I mean, granny squares can get really complicated on you. For real. Okay, so here are some of my grannies. There's one. Here's one. And I made a whole bunch of these little yellow ones because what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim them all in yellow, and they're going to be part of a granny Afghan. Okay, here's a granny square. This one, oh, so cute, like a sunflower. Yeah, I like this too. This was so cute to do, this pattern. I like it. That's cute. Here's another one. My granny squares. Just so cute. All right, now here is the basic. When I started, I said, well, let me start off with what I should have been doing. This, I made this about, what, 2-3 years ago now. This is just a square. This is just a square with single crochet, and then the border has single crochet across the top. And what I was doing was I was getting myself prepared to make pot holders and kitchen towels, and I wanted to practice, and this is what I came up with. And I, you know, as I sat and I thought about it, I said, oh, this is a granny square. This is just your simple granny square. It's just, you know, single crochet and then a single crochet border. And then you have this granny square, which I need to fix. Because look, it's coming out right there. Stitch is coming out. Here's another granny square. And here's another granny square. I also have some 3D granny squares around here somewhere. I have to find them, but they're all in this bag. Where I have this bag right here, I have all of my granny squares, and, you know, different yarn, colors of yarn that I want to use. And here's one. Yeah. So I haven't been working on my granny squares lately because what happened is I became obsessed with granny squares, and I started making granny Afghans. It's something about me. It's what I do. I become obsessed with it, so I started making granny Afghans. So I have some granny Afghans around here too. And on one of my crochet and chats, I'll share with you, and I'll work along with you on my granny square Afghan. So anyhow, that's me. I start off in the most difficult place, and then wind up back in the, you know, in the foundational set, or the most basic set. So, but, you know, like I said, you know, having a good solid foundation in anything is wonderful, and that should not be knocked. It should not be minimized or anything of that nature. You just have to you learn what you learn when it's time for you to learn it, right? And for me, I guess it wasn't time for me to do what I you know, it wasn't time for me to make dishcloths at that moment. It was time for me to work on my grandmother's Afghan. The funny thing is, I had the pleasure of being kept warm under that Afghan back in 2019. I went to visit my family in Detroit, and it was winter. And since it was so cold upstairs in my bedroom, I slept on the main floor. And one of the blankets that I used in the blue room, with permission, was the Afghan. And let me tell you, I got under that Afghan and I didn't need any other blanket. Sure didn't. I did not need any other blanket. That Afghan kept me warm. As a matter of fact, I got hot underneath it. So guess what? It served its purpose because it kept me warm. And to be honest, and you know, I'm so sad to say this though, but that was the last time I saw my family in person. Was in 2019, November of 2019, because right after that we went into the you know what, the panorama, as as DJ Richie Sky likes to call it, the panorama. I crack up when he does that. But we went right into that, and I haven't seen them physically. I talk to them often, but you know, there's nothing like the warmth of being in the presence of your mother, or the warmth of being in the presence of your grandmother. There's nothing really like that. Nothing can compare to that feeling. And I miss that. So hopefully this year we will all be able to get together and see each other. It's one of the reasons why I decided to, you know, get the vaccination, was so that eventually, if I decided to go home, being that my parents and my grandmother and my aunts are elderly, I don't want to be the person to pass on, you know, the panorama to them. That would not be cool. But what's happening in your neck of the woods? How are things going in your family? Has the panorama affected your family at all? In my family, we suffered a couple of transitions due to the panorama. Sorry to say. But hopefully we're in the process of climbing out of that. Hopefully we'll be able to come together some kind of way as a people again, safely. I want to say safely. Hold on a minute. Okay, I had to plug in my charger, but I'm back now. As I said, I hope that we get to a point where we're able to come together and enjoy each other's company again. That's what I'm hoping for. That's really what I desire. So I miss my family. I miss my grandmother. You know, I miss her home. I miss my parents. I miss seeing them. And so many things have happened in these past 2 years that I have wanted to just, you know, wrap my arms around my family. But the only thing that I can do is just pray for them and pray for their well-being and pray for their safety. And that's really the only thing that I can do to help them and be supportive as much as I can. I mean, that's really the only thing that you can do, right? At this point. So I'm actually coming around to the point where I am finishing the body of this slipper, because there are 3 components, I like to say, of making a crochet slipper that I've learned. And for me, it is the toe area, the body, and the heel. Those are the 3 components of making a crochet slipper. And the last component is your border, your trim, to make it look cute. So now I am finished with the body, and I'm going to hit the ankle, or I should say this is the portion of where the foot will be. My grandmother's foot will be in here. And now I'm going to work on the heel. And for the heel, I'm going to be doing I will be doing a half double crochet for the heel. And you will be able to see the change in the stitch pattern when it comes to the heel. And here I go. I forgot to do my counting. So that's that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's the one thing with crocheting that you have to be mindful of. 5 is your count. You have to be mindful of that. I'm on 8 now. 9, 10. I need to start my heel, I need 16 stitches in this row. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. All right, and then I'm going to chain 1, turn it over, and then I'll begin again. So what I'm going to do is stop, because I'm sure my counting is not going to help you at all. If anything, it's probably going to hinder you from doing what you need to do. So it's been 33 minutes after the hour, and I want to thank you so much for spending time with me on this crochet and chat. I want to keep it at 30 minutes. If I go longer, you know, I go longer, but my goal is to just keep it at 30 minutes and, you know, maybe present enough crochet and chats where you can just play them all as you go along. So I want to thank you for tuning in to Simply Nail, and hopefully the next time we sit and chat, I will show you the completed slipper for my grandmother. And this is what it will look like. It will look like this. And I will be not only showing you it, I will also be preparing to mail it right to my grandmother. Thank you so much for tuning in to Simply Nail, and I will chat with you next time. Have a great, great day.